So for the two philosophy papers, you get an opportunity to figure out what it is that you believe about the nature of education and the purpose. Why are we teaching students? How are we doing it and why? What is the purpose of students' educations? What do they need to be learning about? How do we go about teaching them? This seems like something that you could skip and dismiss and, let's get back to the real world. Why do we have to talk about philosophy? This is so important. This is the way you view the world. And the sooner you can come to grips with what you really think, the more empowered you will be as a teacher. Trust me. As someone who went into the classroom really not knowing what my educational philosophy was, because I didn't have time to think about it, or I didn't take the time to think about it, it did not serve me well. Because what happens is you go into this environment where everybody has a slightly different philosophy, and everybody's talking about the way things should be done, and these great new ideas and approaches, teacher-centered stuff versus student-centered. You need to know where you stand on this stuff so that you're not just blowing in the wind with some principle that tells you to do it one way, and then your next door neighbor teacher or next door neighbor speech language pathologist has a different approach, and you don't really know what the right approach is because you haven't really spent the time thinking about it. This is so important for you guys to begin thinking about this. So this assignment just has you thinking about it using a prompt from the textbook at the end of chapter 6, which you read in module 1, and we had a discussion board about it. And so you want to read that prompt. It's on page 206 of the textbook right here, this green stuff. And I actually wrote the prompt also down below. And you're just going to start mapping out your educational philosophy. Now, one of my philosophical beliefs is that your philosophy will evolve with you as a person as you evolve. Hopefully I assume that you'll evolve, but I could be wrong. You may not agree with that philosophically. But I think that this is just a snapshot of where you are at this point in your life, and that in 5 years it'll be totally different, or you'll read this philosophy statement and you'll just laugh at yourself. Or maybe it'll be spot on and pretty close, and with a few little tweaks and things that you want to add based on your experiences. I found that becoming a parent has changed a lot of the way I view things. For example, it's been huge. So I've been doing that for the past, 12, 13 years. And I wasn't a parent when I first was learning to become a teacher. But also teaching changed my philosophy. Anyway, I'm going to ramble a little bit less and just let you guys take a look at the different assignments. The first philosophy paper is the actual formal 2-page philosophy. Then there's a second one that's a 1-pager, which is sort of you reflecting on how the course experiences have maybe affected your philosophy, or if there's any relationship there, or if you have new light to shed on it. It's sort of an update, a small update at the end of the course. All right, I hope you guys enjoy it. Thank you.